Is Michael Mastro. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to look at the chart for Azim Premji. Uh, he is the biggest philanthropist right now in India, helping with the coronavirus and education and hospitals, and quite an accomplished guy. Um, so let's look at his chart. If you, he was born July 24th, 1945, 7 a.m. Mumbai. And if you look to the eastern horizon when he was born, you would see the constellation associated with Cancer rising at 4 degrees. Any planets that are within 5 degrees of that rising sign degree, like Mercury, like Jupiter, like Mars, and Sun, have quite a bit of impact in his chart. Um, so we look to see where the multicona signs are, to see what areas of life people are learning about in this lifetime. So the multicona signs are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. Now, what does multicona sign mean? So uh, many planets rule two signs. So, for example, Venus rules Taurus and Libra. But Venus itself is more associated with relationships, and Libra is more associated with relationships than Taurus is. So Libra becomes the multicona sign. Take Mars. Mars rules the Aries and Scorpio. So Mars is all about action and energy, uh, and the sign of Aries is more connected to that action and energy than Scorpio is. So the first sign of Aries becomes the multicona sign for Mars. So etc. etc. So Saturn rules uh, Aquarius and Capricorn. Aquarius becomes the multicona sign. Jupiter rules Pisces, and um, another, it's escaping me for the second, but it rules two signs. And Mercury rules Gemini, and it rules uh, Virgo, and Virgo becomes the multicona sign. So the multicona signs, he's working on his life purpose, his longevity. He has really good health. He's working on helping other people. He wealth and fame and continuation of the marital bond. He's been married to one person for many, I don't know, 60 years or something like that. Um, Extremely wealthy, one of the wealthiest people in India, very famous. He's working on entrepreneurial success. He really took his company and diversified it, made it very successful. He's working on happiness through his family life. He has two very bright sons that are taking over his business, and a wonderful wife. He's working on, this is the house of service, the sixth house, so health and healing and helping hospitals and education. Jupiter is all about education. He's working on Saturn here, also the planet of service, helping other people. Um, and he inherited his business from his father. So windfalls and inheritance. Then we have uh, Mars here ruling this house of career. Career very important for him. So those are the main areas of life that he's working on. So here, he, now let's look at how the planets are operating, and then we'll look at when they're operating and what we can do to remedy the chart. So we know that any multicona signs that fall in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house become functional malefics. So Jupiter in the 6th becomes a functional malefic. Saturn ruling this 8th house becomes functional malefic along with Rahu and Ketu. Now, so we will look out for those and see how they're operating. Doesn't mean that they'll cause harm, but they can cause harm from time to time in the transit chart. So let's look at how the planets are operating. So Sun is at 7 degrees, close to the most effective point. It's ruling the house of wealth and fame and continuation of the marital bond in the first house. Now, the ruler of this house is Moon, and Moon is placed in a challenging house. So Moon becomes weak, so it makes Sun a little bit weak, but Sun is close to the most effective point, so it still has some good strength. So gave him great leadership, wealth. It gives wealth through leadership through the father. So his father died when he was very young, and he was in engineering school at Stanford. Had to leave there when he was 21 and take over the company, and became known as the Bill Gates of India, basically. He diversified that company that had to do with oils, and took it into soap. And then when IBM basically left India, he decided to go take it into technology, which was a very courageous thing to do at the time. Let's see here. Basically, the company is worth about $17 billion now. Moon is at 24 degrees. We just said it's a little bit weak because it's sitting in the sixth house. It rules the house of life purpose. Now, this house is the house of service. So his life purpose has to do with service, helping other people, philanthropy, helping health industry, education industry, gives him great compassion. Also, he is known as the no bribe company, so very clean in terms of not taking any bribes or giving any bribes. They have a no bribe policy. So he is definitely the biggest philanthropist in India, helping with the coronavirus, and he attributes his success to his mom. Moon is related to mother. Mars is at 4 degrees, close to the most effective point, ruling the house of career, gives him a great courage and income through engineering, IT engineering, and also connected to oil. Mars is about fire, so oil. So gained his career and wealth, income through this Mars energy, IT engineering, and oil. Loves hiking, and I think he saw that his father died at an early age from a heart attack, so he was very into keeping a healthy lifestyle, and he hikes to all the different remote villages where he's trying to help with the education in India, and took a lot of courage to jump in from oil to IT. And diversify the company at a time when it was very risky to jump into IT in the early 90s. Jupiter's at 0 degrees. It's malefic, close to the most effective point, ruling the house of service, and also this is the house of health and healing and debts. And it's placed in the house of entrepreneurial success. So I think his service to others and hospitals and donating to education. Jupiter's all about education and helping with the health of India, the coronavirus. He basically his education was cut short. So Jupiter's weak; it's in infant state because of his father's death. But he eventually did graduate from Stanford. Jupiter's children. He has two successful children who are taking over the company. Venus is strong in its own. Let's see. It's in the house of income, and it rules the house of happiness through family. He has a beautiful wife who really supported him through the business and working hard. Um, Saturn is at 23 degrees. It's also malefic. Made him a very frugal person. You know, most of his life he bought used cars, lived a very frugal lifestyle. And now Saturn itself is service. So he's basically taken on the pledge of giving half his wealth, like Gates and Buffett, to help India. Rahu in K2. So Rahu here is benign. It's not afflicting anything. K2 is not afflicting anything, not close to the rising sign degree. So Rahu gives this desire to grow spiritually through philanthropy and letting go of his wealth, basically. K2 gives insights into service and how he can help others. Kind of like Gates, you know, he reached a certain point where he wanted to give back, and he's taken on their pledge as well. So, what could we do? You know, he's a very successful guy, seems pretty healthy as well. But it can always be better. You want to strengthen Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, and Venus with a kavash. It's a silver locket containing the Devata yantras for those planets. And you want to do chants and charities for Saturn, Jupiter, and actually you don't want to strengthen Jupiter because it's malefic. So you want to help spiritual organizations, you know, philanthropy for Saturn, and also Rahu and K2. Um, so he's already doing that. So he's doing the remedies to make his chart very successful and give him great longevity, even though Moon is a little bit weak. So thank you for listening. Again, my name is Michael Mastro. This is, if you like this channel, um, uh, subscribe, and you can hit the bell and you'll get notification whenever any new, um, um, every Wednesday usually, there will be a new portrait of some specific person that's in the news. And if you want a reading, go to vastucreations.com. If you'd like to learn this form of Vedic astrology, it's a little different than most, but you can see it's very simple and accurate. You can go to American Institute of Vastu.com. Again, thank you so much for listening.